Thank you, Jessica. Okay, we are recording and live streaming and ready when you are.
Okay, I'd like to call the meeting of the Finance Administration Committee to order. First up would be approval of agenda. Commissioner Jelzinski, do you have any items you'd like to add?
I would like to add one item, and that is the annual evaluation of the county administrator controller.
Okay, so we will add the annual evaluation of the administrator controller. That will be, we'll make that the new number 6 and then move everything else down. Sounds good, thank you. Anything else? Any others? Okay, very good. Next up is call to the public. We have Commissioner Horton as part of our public today.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Chairman Ho. Just real quick, just to touch base, I am attending off-site today because not diagnosed, I have had COVID since this is completed my 5-day quarantine. I'm currently not running the temperature, but I'm hovering close to the point, and rather than come in and risk everything, I'm just going to sit back and watch you gentlemen diligently work and do the heavy lifting, and I can just come through and comment at the end. So I thank you for that.
We appreciate that. We appreciate you being here, at least remotely.
There you go.
Okay, we don't have anyone else on the line, do
We do not, we have Sheriff Main on the line, although we knew that, he was
right?
going to be there, but no one with their hand raised at this time, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, very good. That brings us down to item number 4 is consider adopting Isabella County Board of Commissioners Resolution number 2022-7, Limited Tax General Obligation Jail Bond Series 2022 in the amount not to exceed $41,500,000 and authorize the board chair to sign the same. So do you want to start us off on this?
Absolutely,
Okay.
yes. Especially given the action that the board took last week to approve the change order with Clark Construction. We will now need to sell bonds to to pre-fund, if you will, the USDA loan to the county in the amount of $41.5 million. This resolution was prepared by our bond counsel, Eric McLaughlin of Dickinson Wright. It lays out what the bond can be used for. In the past, remember, we had originally had in here for a use, not only to build a new sheriff's office and correctional facility in the township, but also to demolish the existing facility in the city of Mount Pleasant and build a new Sallyport and a new office. So those things are not getting done now. So have been or will be removed from the bond resolution. It also sets the ceiling at $41.5 million. That actually was done with the notice of intent that the board passed a year ago last spring. You waited set that 45-day referendum period. No one came forward in that time to say we need to take this to the vote of the people. And so this board has the ability to issue these bonds. Most importantly, I feel like this sets the term at 40 years to not exceed 40 years. We can pay it off early, and it also sets the interest rate at 2.125%, being the most important things in this document. This is the next step in being able to close on the USDA loan, hopefully early December. This resolution sets the form of the bond. The middle part of the resolution shows basically that once the bonds are sold, they have to be in this form. And I think also importantly, towards the end of the resolutions on page 10, item 14 gives pre-authorization to execute all the necessary closing documents on the loan. It gives the chairperson of the board, the county treasurer, the county clerk, and myself authorized to do anything necessary to effectuate the sale, issue, delivery, transfer, exchange of the bonds. All living within the parameters set by the resolution, of course.
Mr. Jazinski. you have anything?
I have a question. I'm not sure that anybody here can answer it. But item number 15 says taxable obligations. The interest on the bonds is not excludable from gross income for federal income tax purposes. So it's not like a municipal bond. But somebody getting 2.125, I don't know what current interest rates are paying on other instruments. Is there any anticipation that might be difficult to sell the bonds?
No, there's not any in anticipation that I am aware of that it might be difficult to sell the bonds. I can tell you the reason that they are taxable and they're not in line with more like municipal bonds like we would be used to is because that we are getting revenue, we will be getting revenue from that facility through the US Marshals contract. And funny enough, the IRS, sees the federal government as that, revenue generating entity, if you will. It doesn't exclude us from that. We're still seen as making revenue, even though it's from the federal government. And so that caveat makes those bonds taxable.
Okay. What,
It's tough, but that's been known for a few years.
okay. One more follow-up question, and that is, it's gonna take some time to sell these bonds. And I know we have a deadline of, was it April 1 or May 1?
Yes, April 1 for the.
So do
interest
these
rate.
all have to be sold by that time, or does that in any way jeopardize our USDA financing?
They would have to all be sold, I believe, by that time, but I am not hearing from bond counsel or the financial advisor that will be an issue. Now that I know that that's a question, I'll reach out to bond counsel and ask that specific question and see if maybe he can be present for the meeting next Tuesday to speak to the whole board, so he can give you some comfort in that regard.
Right. I can see why we have a bond counsel. I got a headache reading through this and then. But I guess you don't pick up somebody else's 40-some million without requirements. So
Exactly.
I have
so-
nothing else.
Good questions. I don't have any questions on it.
I do have a couple of edits that I've suggested to bond counsel. It does speak mostly to that building the correctional facilities in the township. And I think it's important he took out the new sheriff's office in the city, but obviously I think it's important to talk about the sheriff's office being built in the township to spell that out. And then in the form, we still have the demolition of existing facilities. So I've asked him to remove that in the next draft as well.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, I think so. I think this sets us up well. Any questions?
No? Nope, no, me neither.
Mr. Chairman, I'll move that we take the consideration of adopting the Isabella County Board of Commissioners Resolution number 2022-07, limited tax general obligation jail bond, series 2022, in amount not to exceed $41,500,000 to the work session next Tuesday.
And I'll support that. It's been moved and supported. Any further discussion? And seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Anyone opposed? Same sign. So that item will move forward. And it brings us down to invoice list discussion.
Actually, you have an addition to the chairman. Oh, you.
Right,
doing
we were
invoice
gonna do
list
it
first.
after,
My apologies.
after invoice list. Yeah, I probably should have put it number 5. That's
It's
okay.
just how I laid my
Look
papers
at
down, honestly.
Yeah, we'll look at the invoices. I didn't see anything out of the ordinary.
No, I noticed that Genesee County and Jackson County Youth Center, looks like we're housing young people down in those communities. I know at the Northern Michigan Counties Association, they did bring up once again that Clare, and there's another northern county that's looking at opening up a youth center, so. I know we've talked about it for our jail, but just, I don't know if you've had a chance to reach out, but that's not an item for discussion. It just,
Well, it's actually pretty timely. We had in Criminal Justice Committee this morning, Trial Court Administrator Carrie Curtis let us know that the state just began a task force to actually look at juvenile detention facilities and the fact that there are no beds. So I think you're gonna see something. She didn't talk about a deadline. I haven't seen a lot on that, but it's a hot topic right now, Commissioner, so your comments are very timely.
okay, I don't have any comments or any questions about any of the bills pending.
Okay. Neither do I, and that's not an action item, just a discussion item. The next item then would be annual evaluation of the administrator controller.
Our bylaws for 2022, section 5.83 says the contract shall exist between the Board of Commissioners and the Administrator Controller. A formal evaluation of the Administrator Controller shall be conducted annually. And this is something that's been repeated in our annual bylaws every year since I've been a commissioner. But I'm on my 8th year right now, and when I think back, I think we had 2 evaluations of our former administrator. We had one that the question was posed that should we cancel it for that year, which we agreed to. But then the other 5 just never came up. And I'm thinking, if it's in our bylaws, we need to follow the bylaws. If not, we need to amend the bylaws to take it out.
Yeah,
And I think it's a good idea.
I would agree 100% with that.
I know it's time short now, as we're coming to the end of the year. Don't need to put anything else on a county administrator controller's plate, but I think it's a sound measure.
In your contract follows calendar year.
Correct. Yes, it does. Jessica prepared, she printed off, I believe that's the evaluation template that was used the last time.
Oh,
This
okay.
template is out on our county website in the employee section under the forms. So it can be utilized there. Now, that's just what's been used in the past. It doesn't mean that that's what you have to use. If you would like, we can gather some examples for you to use. And we should probably talk about the process. I understand in the past, the evaluations were sent to the county attorney who collected them and kind of,
Yeah,
yeah. Created a summary.
yep. Seems like that's how it was done, yeah. Yep. That form looks fine to me.
I think the form is good, the
Reinvent.
process.
So if I'm looking at this right, there's an opportunity for me to score myself also. Is that okay? That's a
Mhm.
great.
Yeah.
Okay. Excellent.
So are we thinking we do that in January when your first year is up? So,
Well, what does annually mean? So maybe we should do it in December. It seems if the contract is going to be due December 31st, I think probably we want to do this before a contract is due. So
yeah,
That seems logical.
that makes perfect sense.
not that we think that Nicole's doing a bad job. because I
No,
think she's
no,
doing a
but
great job, but
that's-
it just makes sense to do it that way.
That's what we should follow, and
That's
I agree 100%. If it's in our bylaws, we should be doing it. And it's a good idea anyway. Getting that practice.
So would a time frame of getting this out to the commissioners either next Tuesday or the second meeting a month and give enough time to complete it?
Yes, I think next Tuesday, since we've got the template, we'll just get Jessica, it's a fillable form,
Yes.
right? So we can email it out and then Tuesday we'll also have hard copies available for them as well. And we can describe the process. We'll have them, we'll have to come up with a due date for them to get them back to you want them to go straight to the attorney again? Or they could bring them.
I
to
guess so.
Jessica,
I mean,
who
there's
could-
a reason why we did it that way.
I suppose
I suppose.
confidentiality,
Yeah.
but Jessica is a confidential employee as well. So she could collect them and send them, or they could go right to.
Well, I had an experience as Parks and Recreation Director here where I had a real split, philosophically split commission. And they evaluated me and 3 of those commissioners falsified. And it was given to a committee that was made up of those 3 individuals. They got caught in the act and they were replaced, but I always thought it's probably good to have a third party to do that,
Cut it right out of the equation.
you know,
Makes sense.
make sure it's fair and
Yep.
transparent. So
So do you think 2 weeks is enough to having to hold those? Because our attorney's gonna take a little bit of time to compile the scores and get that back to us. I'm sure she'll need.
I would think so.
2 weeks.
if I would think so. Does it even need to be an agenda item other than maybe an announcement by administrative control?
Yeah, I can handle that, or we can bring it through finance, either way. I think it should be on the agenda just so we don't forget.
Okay,
So we,
Yeah.
we don't forget to have the discussion.
As a discussion item.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Keep it on there
Could do
under
that.
finance.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. That sounds.
Discussion.
so since it's already on a requirement, we don't need to take a motion now. It was just a discussion item.
Correct.
Okay. Sounds good. Sounds good. Thanks for bringing that up.
Yes, it allows us to get on track, otherwise.
Mhm.
we've been-
Yeah, it's something we should do every year. Next up then is announcements. Do you have any announcements?
I don't,
I don't either. And then that brings us down to call to the public. There's our public.
10:17, you guys can't get off that early. Come on now. Geez, oh Pete. No, I agree with everything you guys said in regards to Nicole's review. Nicole, you're doing an excellent job. And when Jerry said January, I didn't want to hear January because I wanted to have a chance to give you a glowing report and
Oh,
as a farewell, the wonderful job you've done. So I'm looking forward to that. I think maybe have a topic, throw that into the work session. And then get everybody, if there's any discussion on it. Otherwise, that's what I would suggest doing, put it into the work session agenda. And then give them, I wouldn't go any more than get it in by a week. And then, it doesn't take long to fill out that. You've got 1 year of work, and I think commissioners can do that and forward it to Bonnie, or whoever you're gonna forward it to, and then give Bonnie, rest of, let's see, the next one will be in November. So the first one, we'll probably can address it December 2nd's meeting or whatever date that is. I think that would be a good time frame to do that. I think rushing it, trying to get it in the second one in November is kind of pushing it a little bit. Just on Bonnie's end, not on our end, but on her end. So again, nothing should come out too. I think it's going to be, in my opinion, excellent, but that's just 1 out of 7. So, and that's really all I got. I had nothing on anything else, and good job, gentlemen. And I only took a minute and a half. So there you go.
Got another minute and a half before I.
Well, I could, no, I'm just kidding. So,
Good seeing you.
all right.
Take care.
Yeah.
And with that, we adjourn. At, what time is it?
I'm 19.
10:19.
Wow. Good job, Tobin.
That might be a record.
It will be, but it is what it is on that one. So gentlemen, have a wonderful day. Look forward to seeing you on next Tuesday.